A movement can make an unjust system unstable by convincing the institutions that support it to withdraw their cooperation, withdrawing consent. The framework is based on the idea that political power comes from the people, and rulers cannot govern them effectively if people withdraw their skills, resources, and consent. Pull, not
system preferences.
Nonviolent action should aim to pull members of these pillars toward the movement's cause, rather than push them further toward the opponent through alienating behavior. This approach aims to dismantle the power structures that enable authoritarianism by systematically targeting the institutions that uphold them. These are some of the pillars that are supporting the autocratic takeover of our government by capitulating and contributing money to the Trump administration. Business provides financial resources. Labor keeps the economy running. Faith provides moral authority. Education boosts intellectual power. Civil service executes policy and gets things done. Military police wields coercive power, and there are many, many more. Next slide. Every regime depends on the support of institutions. Again, media, business, labor, faith, education, civil service, military, police, and many more. Each time a pillar institution yields to or supports the regime grows stronger. But in contrast, non-cooperation, which is refusing to do what is expected, disrupting the normal course of events, and withdrawing support from the unjust or illegal policies, this weakens the regime and creates cracks in its foundation of power. Note that the last pillar is cracked. Next slide. Gene Sharp said, by themselves, rulers cannot collect taxes, enforce repressive laws and regulations, keep trains running on time, prepare national budgets, direct traffic, manage parts, print money, repair roads, keep markets supplied with food, make steel, build rockets, train police and army, issue postage stamps, or even milk a cow. People provide those services to the ruler through a variety of organizations and institutions. If people would stop providing these skills, then the ruler could not rule. Next slide. To fight authoritarianism, we need institutions and everyday people engaging in mass defiance. What does that look like? Protest and persuasion. Focus on common ground and how authoritarianism could threaten fundamental freedoms that all citizens share, such as the right to vote, freedom of movement, and
better activists. We're all trying to learn how to put what our actions are into a larger picture. So we're just taking this one step at a time. And we thought what would be useful right now is to take 5 or 10 minutes for you to turn turn to the person next to you, or groups of 3 or 4, whatever kind of is easy in your little, wherever you're seated. And process a little bit about what you just learned about how the pillars hold up autocracy. You don't have to come up right now with what actions you might think you would want to take. We're going to work through that a little bit later. This is more, with those pillars that you just saw, like education. Were you a teacher? Are you a teacher? Is that a pillar that you relate to or resonate with? Are you a worker? Or, for instance, I grew up in Washington, D.C. I'm retired. And for me, what's completely is most compelling is civil rights or civil service, and so that's where I'm focusing my energy. Somebody else might be an active member of a church, and you might want to get your faith community. And you might resonate with that or identify with that. It's kind of, this is the kind of time, also, if you don't quite understand these or how you fit in, this would be a time for you to process. Like I had a conversation with Kat before this meeting about, well, which pillar do I think I could be effective in? Or what have my actions that I've been doing for a few years, where do they fit into this, and how have they begun the seeds of non-cooperation? So we're going to take some time to do that, and then we'll hear from you. We'll see what came up in your conversations before we move on to understanding more about what particular actions might be possible to do, what particular actions are you doing, and what new particular actions might be possible. Okay, so we're not going to do this in a kind of organized way. Turn to a person near you and include others near you, and just discuss among yourselves.
Did you go to control panels? Excuse me, old words. Yeah, system settings. Audio. Sound. I can never find it.
I know. I always.
Okay, so your output is set to your speakers. You have a built-in speaker, so it's not showing the mic. No, excuse me, your input. Okay, so it's seeing, yeah, you want to use the webcam, right?
I don't think there's a.
Try it where the noise is on. That'll be better, it'll pick up the PA.
I don't think there's a. Is there a microphone on the webcam?
Apparently, look. Yeah,
That's
again.
so weird.
Yeah, they usually do.
Oh, I don't think I realized that. Okay. So.
I'm listening to the street.
You should go in the hallway and see. All I can hear is just that muffled.
Yeah, no, it's like really muffled.
Why don't you take one more minute to wrap up, about a minute to wrap up your discussion. Thank you. Okay, everybody, let's bring that back to a close. Okay. Well, it was great to see you all talking to each other like that. So we want to now, we want to get a kind of a feel from the group that's here. Where do you relate to these pillars? Which pillars do you relate to, and what do you have to say about it? So I'll call on you, and then these people will take notes.
Let's start by doing a raise hand and see how many business.
Oh, okay. All right, how many people looked at the business pillar and found that to be their most resonant thing? Okay, good. How many people looked at the labor pillar and felt an affinity with that? Good. How about the faith pillar? Excellent. Education pillar? Doesn't surprise me, being a university town. How about military and police? Yeah, good. Okay, were there civil service? Okay, good. Any other ones? Yeah.
Clearly, media and law are missing.
Yeah. Media and what?
Law.
Media and law, definitely. Medicine and healthcare. Okay. Yeah.
International relations because of what our tax dollars are doing.
Excellent. Excellent. International relations. Any others? Yeah. What? Environment. And the climate, and yeah, excellent. Anything else?
What about politicians?
Are you getting an echo? No.
Generational gap, and getting them engaged.
Educated.
Generational gap, getting all ages, all adults, all parts of the voting electorate or of the citizenry engaged. Excellent.
Politics. What about just getting people to vote?
Yeah, politics and civil rights. Politics and civil rights. Yeah. Civil service kind of relates to that, but I think it can be broken down. Okay, we are not becoming scholars of autocracy here. We are just trying to become informed and competent activists. And this thinking of things in this way might help us, give us a context as we design our actions, and as we go to the protests or marches or whatever we do. Okay, so that's great. Any other feedback from this part of the program so far? Yeah.
Groups thinking, why don't others who feel the way we feel aren't getting involved, and how do we get them involved? Not to guilt them, but how to bring people who feel this way and want to make change but can't look at it right now, or can't deal with it.
Our own peer group.
In our own peer group, how to enlarge the peer group that is fighting the regime.
How to help them get involved and be okay getting involved.
How to help them get involved and be involved, yes.
Arts and culture.
Arts and culture. Oh my God, the Kennedy Center. Oh, the Smithsonian, yeah. Oh, one person, yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I think like Ezra's comment.
Repeat for the room.
Yes, the audience member said, remember that people can get involved in a variety of ways. They might not come to this meeting, but they might be going to a meeting for trans rights or something like that. And I think that dovetails with one of the messages at the very beginning of those of you who got here in time to see Ezra from Indivisible National is we can't do it all ourselves. We don't have to do it all ourselves. We find the thing that we can do. And even though it always feels like maybe too little, too late, we can't think that way. We must just do these things, yes.
Do you want suggestions for specific and simple things you can do on a daily basis that are really easy?
That's the next part of our program. Yes, thank you. Okay, I think we'll move on to the next part, and I'm going to have Denise come introduce herself.
Well, that was a really good discussion because you guys are ready for this part of the program, I can tell. I think we should take a minute to just enjoy that we're in a room with like-valued people. Very good energy. So I'm Denise Allen, and I'm going to take us a little deeper into the art of not cooperating. Okay? You guys all did a really nice job talking about not just the pillars that are here, but a whole lot of other pillars, right? Institutions and organizations that you know you interface and interact with. That's the beginning, is getting some clarity around that. You did great with that. So now we're going to remember that when individuals and institutions cooperate, it holds up like pillars the autocratic regime. When individuals and organizations do not cooperate, it weakens the regime and they lose power. So we are going to understand at least a little bit more about what is non-cooperation during our time today. So we're going to talk about some examples. That's a really good way to understand it. How many of you were involved in the Tesla takedown? Okay? What a great example of how powerful non-cooperation can be. It starts with this. People know that something is wrong. In this particular situation, it was Doge and Musk. Rather than comply, rather than go along, rather than cooperate, people created a movement. Individuals, ordinary people created a movement. It was the Tesla takedown. Boycott and protest, sustained over months, and what a powerful impact. Tesla's entire business trajectory has changed, and at least one billionaire is out of Washington, D.C. That's the power. Similarly, Target. Target really quickly capitulated and withdrew their DEI initiatives like that. People said, that's wrong. And they stopped shopping at Target. Again, right? Target revenues are down and their CEO has recently been asked to resign because of poor performance. That's the power of non-cooperation. It's really interesting also to note that the people who first started the Target boycott, really promoted it, were black clergy and the American Federation of Teachers, right? We know what pillars, right? Education pillar, faith pillar, non-cooperation in those pillars really impacted a business pillar. So 3 pillars, right? Weakened and taken out. We also have Avelo Airlines. Signed a contract with Homeland Security to participate in deportations. Public outrage, protest, boycott. They are out of California now. Right? That's a lot of power. And there's similar pressure right now across the nation in other cities. That same kind of pressure. Don't fly on that airline, right? Also, courage. Let's talk about courage for a minute. Nicole Collier, very brave even to be a Democrat in Texas. This is kind of my opinion. And she's not only that, so she's in the House. And she alone refused to sign a permission slip that would have essentially given law enforcement permission to stalk her around the clock. In retaliation for not signing that agreement, the House Republicans illegally confined her to the State House. When her Democrat colleagues found out what was going on, they returned to the State House, they tore up their permission slips, and they joined her in detention. Courage of one person ignited and inspired a group of people. So these are some really good examples, and there are so many more. You all actually started throwing some ideas out there about non-cooperation. That's what we're going to talk about for a little while here. But first, thinking about these examples and also those pillars that you already know you're interacting with, do another little brainstorm with the people who you've just worked with and think about it. So here's what we want to keep in mind. When people and individuals see something wrong, they don't go along. They find a way to resist. When you're in your groups, think about the pillars that you're part of and then come up with some ideas. It's a brainstorm. So just let the ideas flow. You don't have to have a specific plan. You don't have to justify it. Come up with ideas, throw them out there, and we'll capture them when you're finished. About 10 minutes?
Boycott
Yeah.
Amazon.
Great.
Big banks. Join the local credit union.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to turn into your groups, do a little brainstorm, and then we'll talk stuff out. which you guys, I know, have been dying to do. Come up with some of the ideas that you most embrace, and let's get them written down.
Kind of the opposite of an action to stop. It's an action to prop up the businesses that are doing what we want them to do.
Yes. So we're talking about propping up the businesses that are doing what we want, which is not cooperating. Right. It can be encouragement is non-cooperation. Inaction can be non-cooperation. Encourage what we want to see, absolutely. Yes.
So the one I put up there, so for those of us who work in businesses, we have an opportunity to steer those businesses away from ICE contracts, away from military contracts, away from things that support those things. If ICE wants to maintain a database, I'm a software engineer. If ICE wants to maintain a database, it goes back to that first quote about kings can't do everything by themselves, right? If nobody wants to support that database, if nobody will write the code to do it, then that leg falls, right?
Yeah.
Okay? So we have subversive opportunities.
Perfect example of looking at where you connect and then putting together non-cooperation ideas.
So kind of go along with that, where's your money invested? You know, if you're walking around, it's like, have you looked into that? Like, are you propping up the NRA? Like, where's your money going when you're investing in it?
Did everybody hear that? Right? Follow the money. Where is your money going? Be informed about that.
Yes, I want to piggyback off that because Santa Cruz City has a lot of investments that are complicit with the genocide. And so there's a meeting in October. So we need to mobilize and go to that meeting and tell them to divest. I don't know yet, but I will let you know.
So where is local? That's local, city council, local government.
So you'll get some information together and get it out to we the people so we can show up in numbers. Important, right? Gather the numbers.
Lockheed Martin is a business in our community. Lockheed Martin is located in Bonnie Doon, and they are manufacturing the war apparatus that is fueling the war.
So Lockheed Martin is in our community, and it's a place where we can consider some non-cooperation. Chevron is very heavily invested in the military.
And destroying the environment, of course, very heavily invested in genocide. And we've done pickets at Chevron before. Chevron is a great place to picket, the location on Ocean. We can do that right away. And it's true, you inform a lot of people, but we could have, we could have ongoing once a month picket. I know it's, But we're informing you buy gas. You don't buy Chevron. Oh, APCO! So APCO has the best prices for somebody.
Okay. So here we go. So this is really know where your money's going. You know what we can do the research and figure it out. Go ahead. Hang on a second. Let's just have one conversation.
It's one thing to say, don't write the code, and it's another thing to say, if you don't do that, we will support you. Because people are worried about their jobs, their livelihood. We want
Okay.
to support them.
So, and we're going to talk a little bit about that too, right? Mutual aid. When we ask people to take risks, how are we going to help them? And that's a really good point. So what that is if you are in a business and you're asked to do something and you don't want to comply, there's risks involved. And we have to be sensitive to that. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
On that note, one thing, so federal grants are being used as a way to determine where public and civil service agencies can actually invest their time. And now with federal funding narrowing, it's pushing certain public and civil service agencies away from providing certain services that this administration might find controversial, such as support for people
So in a sentence, that was beautiful. In a sentence, what's your ask?
Support if you see a ballot measure for state or local funding for a cause that you support, vote yes on it. I know it's hard right now with taxes and thinking of paying more of your money towards that, but that is mutual aid too on a massive scale.
So that's the ask on the ballots. Sometimes we're being asked to give money and we might say, oh, we give enough money, but this is mutual aid. So really consider it from that lens.
Besides your individual, where does your money go? For instance, I'm a retired teacher, and cows, stirs, and herds, it has lots and lots of money invested in all kinds of different bonds and stocks and all this kind of stuff.
Tesla.
So if you're an educator or you've got education as a strong pillar in your life, make sure you know where your dues and your money is going and influence those organizations if they're not doing with your money what you want them to do.
There's a campaign for CalPERS and CalSTRS to divest from Tesla.
Okay, so that's an ask right there. Divest from Tesla. Okay, yes.
Whoa, see? Okay, this is a great one. We started with that. Better writing class.
Okay, let's keep going, yes?
Actively support the effort to pass Proposition 50.
So, it's nice to see all that enthusiasm. So, supporting this effort could mean contributing to the campaign, because obviously there's a lot of competition with big money. It can mean canvassing, it can mean texting, it can mean talking to people. Lots of ways to support, but it's important for the nation. Yeah. Go ahead.
Speak up.
There's been non-compliance on the state level, which has been refreshing, but also recognizing that a lot of the economic policies that are being kind of touted as California's power have brought us to this moment nationally where we have this sort of oligarchy. And so I think locally really recognizing that if we want to resist not just this moment, but for the future of our country, and also to bring the youth in and bring hope, we need to start to push for like massive economic change and reflection on what power is in the state and local level.
So what we're being asked to do is really look broadly, not just in this moment of urgency, but also looking to the future and making sure we're invested economically to lift the next generation. So vision, yes.
I think there's a lot of great ideas for boycotting, but I think you also need to be focused and look for the opportunities. And the reason I say that, when I heard the name Amazon, I about jumped out of my chair because the holiday season's coming. And it seems to me this is a great time to get Mr. Bezos right in the water.
So what we're hearing right now is maybe it's time to boycott Amazon, and I'm going to be honest with you, we're going to talk a little bit about that kind of action as we move forward, okay? Maybe a few more. Whole Foods and Amazon are connected. Yes. ... right?
I was just going to say, if you're not going to Amazon, there's a lot of online resources that you can go to, but small businesses.
Yes.
Right? So you can use Amazon as a tool to research what you want and go to that.
Okay, so interestingly, right, we can find other ways to shop online without using Amazon. How many of you have done that this year? Okay, it can be done, folks. It can be done, yes.
I just want to mention something that used to happen, tax resistance, anti-military, anti-war tax resistance. I don't know how to do it, but maybe we should, if California could stop paying income tax to the federal government, that would stop a lot of that.
The idea here is to do a little more research on using our tax power to protest. So again, a big concept. We're not going into the planning here, but go ahead.
So this goes to where we spend our money, and I just wanted to say that personally what I've been doing, I've been intentionally spending my money locally in the state of California to make sure that we are safeguarded financially and strong, because we are so critical to the future. I think for our kids, for our people, it's important to keep California strong.
Spend your money locally, spend your money in California, boost California is really the message there. All about how you spend your money.
This goes with money. I've got a quickie. Start using cash, stop using your credit cards.
All right, big ask on the floor. Stop using your credit cards, use cash.
This is a way that we can start making a wedge against corporate capitalism.
Yes.
Use cash and credit unions.
Yes. So I don't have a big ask, but it is a big ask for all of us to support our local healthcare workers, support our undocumented people going to medical appointments, doing self-care, taking care of our own self to keep it going, because it's a long haul. And on the money thing and using cash, many years ago, when we were promoting LGBT rights, we wanted to show how much money was in the community. We all got $2 bills, and we spent it within the community. And even though it's not technically legal, you can also stamp your money. But you can, that says, stop war or whatever issue you want. But that might be something that as we're circulating our cash around, they have an understanding of, and we can make it a statewide thing if Indivisible wanted to do something like that, but also to really pay attention to what's happening on the state and county level with healthcare as we're going through the flu season and COVID and vaccines and measles and all that stuff, to really take care of each other.
So really good message about self-care, caring for others, caring for health workers, caring within communities, building support within communities. And even though a lot of you are saying more than what I'm able to come back to, we are going to have a place to put these ideas. So hold on to them. I think we only have time for one more. No,
really
we're done.
Tip about
Okay. We're going to wrap. I'm so sorry. So you have some hands up, and I just want you to know that we're not done collecting these ideas. Okay, this is a lot of good energy and a lot of good ideas. We are going to have a place for you to put that energy and those ideas to make sure that what you're saying to us here today gets spread through the community. We have some ideas for that. So hang on. Okay, first, here's our wonderful issue teams. Take a look. Everything that you all said today, where does that belong in these issue teams? I'm pretty sure most of what was said today fits in here. And I'll tell you something about the issue teams. Santa Cruz County Indivisible issue teams have been practicing non-cooperation for a really long time. We just didn't know that that's what it was called. So, take your ideas, find the issue team that most resonates with you, and keep going with this great energy. You can find out more about the issue teams on the Indivisible Santa Cruz County website. And here's where that comes together. What does defiance look like? This is a lot of what we've been talking about. Protest and persuasion. Defiance. What does it look like? Wear your shirts, right? Wear your emblems, wear your symbols. Protest. A lot of you have been talking about actions that are great ideas, but right now, we need more people. We need more people. Persuasion is about persuading the people who are persuadable. You're all here, but how many people do you know, and this already came up, that are frustrated and they know that what's happening is wrong, and they don't want to go along, but they're still not doing acts of defiance, right? Those are the persuadable people. Those are the ones that you can try to connect with. Meet them where they are and bring them into something that can resonate with them. Maybe it's sitting with you to write postcards, encouraging non-cooperation. Maybe it's going to a protest with you. Persuading the persuadable. That's really a job for all of us right now, because we need more people in the resistance. There's a lot of us, and we have great energy. How many of you went to No Kings? Right? Wonderful. Everybody who went, we need you to bring another person into this movement, okay, into the resistance. So be thinking about the people that you know who are persuadable. Grow the numbers. Okay, keep it here. Building alternatives. So these are the kind of things that our issue teams are doing. Partnering with local immigrant groups to support our community and our immigrants. Supporting health and education. Planning weekly protests in our county. Creating and crafting really cool truth sandwiches to inform and educate, and also to fight against disinformation. These are the things that our issue teams are doing. If you're not part of an issue team, I will tell you right now that they need your energy. They need your energy, they need your ideas, and they need the numbers, right? The more people we bring in, the more power we have. There's a lot of ways to use our voices. So please do join an issue team and keep this energy going. And then, of course, non-cooperation. That's what we talked about today. All these acts of defiance. This is what we brainstormed, non-cooperation. If you're interested in this topic, yeah, this is non-cooperative. That's what we talk. Non-cooperation is all kinds of things. It's everything you have up here. All these ideas that you put up here. It can be small, writing postcards, sending an email. I really appreciate what you're doing. Smithsonian, please don't capitulate. Don't be censored. Your universities, your alumni, what kind of power do you have? Can you pull them into doing the right thing? So this is all non-cooperation. It's what we talked about through this whole meeting. And if you're interested in learning more about non-cooperation, there's the 1 Million Rising 3-part course that you can find at Indivisible. I think we're moving to Signs of Solidarity. All right, Signs of Solidarity. How many of you have heard of it or been participating in it? Yay, wonderful. Which pillar does the Signs of Solidarity impact? Yeah, and law enforcement, right? So what are we doing? This nation is creating a hostile environment for immigrants. Many of us know that this is wrong, and we do not want to go along with it. That is really the essence of non-cooperation. So, local businesses are being asked, we're approaching them. Indivisible has access to information about scripts you can use, how to get these posters downloaded and printed, how to approach local businesses, and we've created a spreadsheet to make sure that we track the businesses not only that have been approached, but the businesses that are putting these signs up. So the Signs of Solidarity is non-cooperation. We create a friendly, welcoming environment, not cooperating with our regime's intent to create a hostile environment. Makes sense. And that's something we can all participate in. Somewhere today you found an idea or a place or an action that you feel energized around. Join the issue team, join the Signs of Solidarity program, find people, and keep this momentum going. If you're interested in the Signs of Solidarity, just last week we got some traction there. We're still going through some growing pains, but lots of people. Capitola Village, tons of signs up. Around Santa Cruz, tons of signs up. Here's one other way that you can spend your money in the way that you feel powerful. If you see a business that has a sign up, and let's say you're looking for your next pair of flip-flops or your next glass of wine, and there's a sign up in one of the stores but not in the other, you can decide which store you go to. If you see signs up around the county, because you will now, stop in and say, thank you for your courage. Courage is contagious.
Okay, let's give such a good job. Thank you, Denise. Thank you so much. We're going to end with this video. It's a video about hope. I think it's a really good way to end. And before we go out in the hallway, if you want to buy a t-shirt or something, Amanda, our co-leader, is going to talk about some financial kind of things and some plans that we have for the future. So I'm going to show this video for you.
Can I just ask one question? You know, I've been trying to find out where we gather for October 18th, and I noticed that Watsonville has.
We'll get to that.
We're going to talk about it.
We'll get to that. We haven't gotten there yet. Yes, thank you.
To change this country, to enact some kind of actual comprehensive health care for everybody, to enact real paid childcare and real paid family leave and real parental leave and, you know, real clean energy transitions, which, by the way, will be cheaper than continuing to use fossil fuels. Trump is literally forcing us to stay on the more expensive fuel. And then everybody goes, why are my energy bills going up? Well, gee, there's a very simple answer to that, because the cheapest energy is wind and solar. And Trump just banned them. Literally said no more wind or solar projects will be approved. I am sentencing you as a country to the more expensive fuel, which will also pollute your air and make you and your kids sick. That's our guy, that's our president. So, take some time every day, I encourage you, to envision a future that is better than now. To envision a future where we don't look for a marginalized community to castigate and demonize, but we work together as communities to bring more people in and to find a pathway to citizenship for immigrants and people who are aspiring to be Americans, to sort of finally do something about our immigration system, which, you know, friendly reminder, there has been no comprehensive immigration legislation passed in 35 years, largely thanks to Republicans who have blocked it every time. Imagine a country where we finally do pass that legislation, where we finally do something about out of control. That is a cynicism which is an excuse for inactivity. It's an excuse to sit on the sidelines and just watch TV. Right, it's never gonna happen, so I don't have to do any work. It absolutely can happen. It absolutely can happen. These policies are all written, they have all been created and crafted by people who have lived in this country their entire lives and know how it should work. Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, all of this stuff has been fleshed out. It's waiting, and we came so much closer than people understand when Biden was president. Sorry, I keep getting phone calls and I forget to put my phone on Do Not Disturb. We came so close. We were within 2 votes of passing paid family leave, of passing voting rights legislation. It was just Kirsten Sinema and Joe Manchin that blocked so many things. So we were close, and then we are taking giant steps backward. But next time, we'll take more steps forward. So it is a very painful time. But I wanted to share some hope with you all. Because I think that if we only are trying to beat Trump, that becomes exhausting to a point where we get depleted. But if we're not only trying to beat the bad guys, but help the good guys, imagine what good looks like. Imagine what a positive future looks like. Imagine where we want to go when this is over. Because it will be. Everything ends. Read history. Sorry I keep saying that, but like, it all ends. McCarthyism, remember how awful that was? Awful. People were driven to suicide in droves. It was horrible. It's over, right? McCarthyism is over. We have other things, but that's gone. He's gone. You know, we could go on. Jim Crow. We still have lots of racism, but like Jim Crow is over. You know, the actual legal enslavement of human beings across the board is over. We still have enslavement in prison. But the point being, horrible things which seem institutionalized to the extent that they will never go away, do go away. But the work continues, obviously. So this will be over someday. This is going to pass. Trump will pass. His administration will pass. MAGA will pass. It will become a thing that people are ashamed to admit they were associated with. It'll take a while, but we're going to get there. I want to live long enough to see it, and I intend to. But we got to start dreaming of what's next, because we can't attain something if we haven't visioned it first. So I do encourage every single one of you to spend a little bit of time thinking about what it looks like to live in a country that is not constantly being described as broken. To live in a country that actually functions, and functions in a way that everybody can get the health care they need. Everybody can get the child care they need. Everybody can get the education they want. Everyone can live in a home and afford to live there. All of these things. Vision. Okay? So, vision will fuel you for the next fight. Again, it is not sustainable to just keep fighting what is bad. We want to keep fueling and helping and nourishing what is good. That's how I stay relatively energized, is because I am trying to help the helpers, not fight the bad guys. So that's something to think about. Who changed?
Hello, everyone. My name is Amanda Harris Altice, and I am one of the co-leads for Indivisible Santa Cruz County. Thank you all for being here this morning. Thank you. So I would like to give a special shout out to Jenny for organizing us and the rest of the, yes. There are some other folks that work with her, but I don't know everybody that did. So shout out to you all as well for helping to support. There's a lot of work that goes into putting together these meetings. They seem relatively simple, but they are actually very complicated and take weeks to put together. So we thank you all for showing up today. So I want to go into a little bit about how you can support us locally. We've talked about all these wonderful actions, where you can spend your money, how you put your money in. You can help us with that as well. So here is, if you're not already a member, we have QR codes. You can also just visit our website. This is all on our website, indivisibleSantaCruzCounty.com. If you want to donate, you can use this link. We have an ActBlue page, and we get 100% of the money that is donated here to us. So that's pretty amazing. I'm part of other organizations that don't get all the money, but we get all the money. All the money that you donate is spent here in our community on this organization for our events. Next slide. Okay, so I'm going to go into something kind of completely different for a minute here. In addition to being on the leadership team, I am also the treasurer. We have what's called a distributed fundraising account, which is run and organized by National Indivisible. It's a really easy way for us to have a bank account. They do things like matching funds. So certain times of the year, your donation is doubled. We had a spring fundraiser, and we got $500 for free because we raised that kind of money. So all that money is in a kind of prepaid Visa for us, and pays for room rentals, pays for any of our tech needs, bought like all of our live stream equipment, even though we had a failure on that sound thing that I just bought a few months ago. So sorry about that for people on the live stream. So it just goes into any of our, like, to buying t-shirts and all that sort of stuff. So we wanted to provide a very brief treasurer's report of kind of where we're at, just so you all get an idea. We are one of the larger groups in California, not the largest, but one of the largest groups with almost 4,000 members. So give yourself a round of applause for being... we travel around and connect to other leadership, and they have sometimes just a couple hundred members. So it's really challenging for us to navigate and to lead a group of that many people. We get a lot of comments and feedback, and we try our best to listen to that feedback and make changes to better support and serve you all here in the community. So to do that, though, we need financial support. So here's our, I don't know if you want me to, it's pretty, you know, I kind of went over this, just where our budget is and how many donors we've had this year. The biggest thing is that we have recurring donors. We have 13 people that donate the same amount each month, which is really helpful because we do have monthly expenses like our website, email. It's mostly like tech stuff. Okay, so next slide. All right, here is the thing that everybody keeps talking about and asking about. No Kings 2. October 18th. I'm sure most of you all have probably heard about this date. We have not yet officially announced because we are trying to work with the city to figure out what our event will look like, and we still don't have those details yet. We want to do a really big, massive march again, but there are some resourcing limitations from the city of Santa Cruz. We're a tiny city. The budget for the city is not that great. Unfortunately, that's just kind of how it is. They're very supportive of what we're doing. They're very happy to support our First Amendment right. However, we don't want to continue to strain the resources that we have of the city, so we have to be very kind of conscientious and intentional about how we use those resources and how we, you know, because they're with us. Even the police are with us too, believe it or not. So we want to be, they're part of our community as well, and I always think back to just building that tent and bringing in people. You know, we talked about all the pillars. These are pillars of our local government, our local police. They're there supporting us, so we want to make sure that we're bringing them into the tent and being supportive. So we hope to announce in the next week or so what our event looks like here in Santa Cruz. So I don't want to give off too many details in case they change, but just keep an eye out. If you're on our mailing list, you'll get an email about it. We'll eventually put it on our website. We kind of did a soft save the date for the 18th, so more details are coming, and I know everybody's anxious, so are we. We started on this weeks ago. It just takes a lot of time and work to put these things together. So thank you for your patience on that, but something will happen. We just don't know exactly what it'll look like yet. Next slide. Okay. So here's how you can help with No Kings. So I've been organizing, if you've gone to a very large protest or large-scale event in Santa Cruz and downtown, in the last 8 years, I was probably one of the organizers. I've been organizing the MLK March since 2018. I've been one of the lead organizers for that. Oh, thank you. And I've worked with other nonprofits to do this, and people never really realize how expensive these events are. So the MLK March can cost anywhere from $6,000 to $8,000 for a one-day, 2-hour event. So a lot of that cost, we listed out a few of the things on here and where that money goes to. So permitting for the city, we have to even pay the parking meters for the city. So any road along the route. Well, MLK is different because we do that on MLK Day and you don't have to pay parking anyway, so that's the only exception. But outside of that, if it's a normal parking day, along the route, if there's a parking meter, we have to pay the parking meter during our event. So that's just how city government, that's bureaucracy. So the city is essentially losing revenue for the 2 hours that we have anyway. So we have to pay for trash and all the things I have listed here. There's things like printing and stuff like that. So we want to have a very, very large footprint for No Kings. And the larger the march, the more streets you close, the more expensive the event becomes. So we're asking today to help us out financially with that. So, yes, you have a quick question?
Would there be a negotiation with the city whereby they actually show their support for democracy by lowering the fees?
It's actually not all to the city.
Okay, well, who else is it to? Those are also
Private vendors that we need, so like the porta potties and stuff like that.
So
we don't necessarily.
Another way that those organizations and those businesses.
It's possible. Yeah, it's possible. Yes.
This is just a strategy that I just came up with. What if before the street was closed, we all parked on those spaces, you know, and paid those.
The police will tow your cars. Because we are paying the police to be there to tow cars that are in the way of the route. Actually, that power comes to me. They ask me if they want the car towed. I typically try not to because I know how horrible it is, but we also have to have tow companies. It's a whole big thing. People think that, so there's like multiple buckets. I tried to just give broad strokes on things. But yeah, I've been doing this for a number of years. Glenn?
I'd be willing to pay for the permit.
The permit is like $360, so thanks. Okay. Thank you, Glenn. Yeah, and I'll need that once they approve us. So I'm trying to find out if they'll approve us first. And then we also need event insurance, and so, yeah.
How about the folks who think the city should waive or lower fees, or the vendors could write letters to them as individuals and
Well, again, most of this money is not, we pay the $360.
I'm just trying not to put it on you. I'm trying to say we should take some of that.
And they have done that. So in years past with the MLK March, there's not money in the budget for them to do that anymore. So in the early years of the MLK March, SCPD was organized and a lot of the city officials. So they either waived or the police department paid those fees. So those were waived in that regard, but then they had to stop because of budgetary limitations. So even though the police are supportive, they just don't have, the city and the police just don't have funding to help, even though they're just like, yes, awesome, cool. So I agree, but I just don't know what that would look like to negotiate some things like that, because I also want to help support our city a little bit too. And like I said, the bulk of the funds actually go towards the barricades and the no parking signs, which we could lower the cost if we had a group of 20 or 30 people to do all of that. So we would need, it's either money or labor. So we either need a bunch of people to distribute. I hire somebody who's been doing this for years. I work with him for years. He just does it, and it's worth all the money that he charges, and he's the most expensive fee. He's like $3,000 or $4,000, but he puts all the parking signs out, collects them. Anyway, I don't go into the weeds, but yes, financial support, volunteers. So we have, if you're not part of our safety team, we have a safety team going. You can volunteer for that. Next slide. Yep. Okay, upcoming events. All right, so we have our continued ongoing weekly events on Monday at Ocean and Water. And I think we're gonna be back at the town clock on Wednesdays. I think that's where there's been some debate about that. So you can kind of check out there or Ocean and Water if you wanna go out and protest. Last slide. And our next general meeting will be in November. This is, again, all on our website. And thank you.
thank you so much for coming. In the hallway, if you're on your way out, we have a big donation jar and we have the QR codes for joining Indivisible if you're not a member, and we have t-shirt sales and we have yard signs that we just had made, so we have a lot of those to sell. And there's some information about an event that's coming up called Sunday that's out there, so we have a couple tables.
Yeah.
Yes, right there.
Yeah.
Yes, please join us for Sunday. We have the information at the table out there. And Indivisible has been a huge supporter. We've managed to raise close to enough money, but we really, really need volunteers for simple things like setting up chairs on the morning and stuff like that. So we'll be out there, and I have a computer sign up if you're interested.
What's the purpose of Sunday?
The purpose of Sunday is to celebrate clean energy, because clean energy will save the world from climate change and deaths from pollution and all kinds of stuff, and that's exactly what he's trying to squash. And so our celebrating it is a form of resistance.
September 21st, next weekend, next Sunday.
Next Sunday, Mission Plaza.
Next Sunday, yeah.
I just wanted to make a comment about Sunday.
What time is it?
12 to 5.
12 to 5. 12 to 5.
Bill McKibben has just written a new book, and he's on a book tour, and he's behind this because it is celebrate, yes, this day, but he is offering what we have to see. He's offering vision, even in the midst of this.
Okay.
This is really important to show up for.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Also in the hallway, Denise will be out there with a email if you're interested in the signs of solidarity. You can take a picture of it. She has it on a card. So if you're interested in that and you want to sign up or get more information, then she has that. So anyway, thank you so much for coming. Yeah.